Hello guys, welcome to my video. So for the video quality and production quality, here in this video I'm going to show you how you can increase the VRM cooling performance of your motherboard. This is especially for ITX motherboards where the VRM heat sinks are really small and their cooling capacity isn't that great, and you might be using a strong CPU and you might be seeing 90 degrees Celsius on your VRM temperatures. The first thing is to change your thermal pad. So this is the Arctic's thermal pad. It is 1 millimeter and it's rated at 6 watts, whatever the units are. So this drop about 10 degrees Celsius. The MSI B450i Gaming Plus Max motherboard, it's the same with the AC. They use the same VRM, same VRM heatsink. So they don't really use a good thermal pad. That's the first thing. The second thing, if your cooler allows that, of course, you can put some aluminum heat sinks on that side. I'm using the Arctic liquid freezer, so there is enough distance between them and they're not touching the chokes. It's important because these are electrically live, as you can see, if I'm not mistaken. And then, last but not least, this is a small copper plate that I purchased from a FinStack AliExpress. So this is fully copper and it's real small actually. And let me show you. So this is like that, as you can see. So the point is to increase the surface area. These are the things that you can do. So you're small, you can see how thin the baseline is. The biggest difference that you're gonna get is of course the thermal pad, and that's the probably cheapest thing to do. And I'm also adding a small heatsink. If you can see it, it's black. So also I got this from AliExpress. I don't trust their adhesive thermal glue, the adhesive, so I'm using this thermal plaster. It's not probably great. I also add some thermal paste. So this is how it looks. It doesn't look great, but at least this is better than nothing. And for example, the AMD Rate Prism cooler, it blows lots of air to the VRM coolers. So, or any other cooler in that similar design, if it's cooling air, then you will be lucky. But with the Prism, I'm not really sure if you can add this chunk of aluminum heat sinks, the 3 pieces I have. But because I use this, Arctic liquid freezer, I can easily add that. So this is how it's gonna look. Again, you don't have to buy this copper FinStack. You don't have to buy these aluminiums. You don't have to buy that black aluminum thing. I also installed 2 of them to the top VRMs there for the input-output SoC, so they don't really produce that much heat. But I don't want to leave them open, so I put them on, and I'm adding one here to get some heat transferred from the base to the FinStack. Same goes for the copper. So what I really recommend you to first do is just get the Arctic's 1 millimeter thermal pads. It's a bit hard to place them because piece by piece, but it's really high quality. And believe it or not, when the CPU pulls 150 watts, the VRM would go to 90 degrees Celsius, and at some point it just shuts itself down. I don't know why. They are rated for over 100 Celsius, but it's gonna really shorten the lifespan of the VRMs. So by just replacing the thermal pad, what you are supposed to do is 99.9% pure isopropyl alcohol. You just drop a little on the VRMs and clean it with the Q-tips. Of course, do it when the PC is shut down. put the motherboard in front of you and then clean the base after removing the original thermal pad. Then install the RTX one. Don't touch them. Try not to touch it. The oil, the grease in your hands also decrease the thermal conductivity. So there is a really little space, between the, I think that's an inductor and the VRMs, and the chokes are really close. You don't have to do anything for the chokes. Also, look at my case. This is an SFX build, so there is not much airflow. In a larger case, maybe you don't need to mod that hard. It's 2700X. So, and the time of ordering this copper fin stack, I didn't realize I had an extra unused package of Arctic thermal pads. So I just said, okay, I think I have it. I looked for it and I found it and I replaced it, and I saw a big difference. These aluminiums, they didn't really make a big difference, but probably increases the thermal capacity. So if this thing, unmodified with the original thermal pad, if it can handle 10 watts of power, maybe it gets like 12 watts of power when you add these three things. I don't really recommend you to add them. They didn't do much, but maybe you can try the copper fin stack with some thermal paste and some thermal plaster, thermal glue, or whatever fits you. And then I don't want to leave that place open. Yeah, there you go. This is how you can really cool down the temperatures. If the thermal pad isn't doing great, then try to add what you can add without being too invasive. These are soft mods because you can always remove them. Of course, if I try to remove this fin stack, probably it's going to be unusable and damaged, but the other ones you can remove them easily. However, if you try to put some aluminum heat sinks on your VRMs with the thermal glues, you can really rip apart your VRM, which is gonna render your motherboard useless, and so that probably voids your warranty as well. So that's not something I will recommend for everyone to do, these two little things. But this is a soft mod, especially changing the thermal pad, and that really gave a huge 10 degrees of difference. That is something for me unusual to see, because this is such a great difference in cooling. So this small thing, it only had the 3 aluminiums, these heat sinks, small ones, and the black main heatsink, which is really small. And by just changing the thermal pad, temperature dropped 10 degrees. Now I will do another test and see if this copper and this small aluminum black heatsink will also make another difference. It can even lower the thermal performance. That is possible because there is not great conductivity here. I mean, there is not great contact here. But we're gonna see. I don't really expect a drop, and I don't expect to get a really huge difference in cooling. Probably a marginal difference, maybe 1 to 4 degrees of change, but we are gonna see. Anyways, thanks for watching.